What's happening, everybody? We are back. This is another episode of It's Rarely Gloomy to Everyone Else, a podcast centered around mental health, artistry, and the grim realities of perfection. Guess what's going on today, people? That's right, we got part two. Part two of the review for my EP, It's Rarely Gloomy on Overton, the project that inspired this entire podcast. That's right. This is part two. We are talking about the Wise Woman breakdown. Wise Woman is honestly one of my most favorite tracks. It's probably one of my most popular tracks. I love it, and I am glad we're here to talk about it because I got so much to unpack about this whole goddamn song. So check it out. Wise Woman was created 2021, the end of 2021. I had just started a new job. I was working as a caregiver, you know what I mean, over in one of the senior homes in Lake Oswego. And it was around the time that I actually met my partner, my child's mom, Tiana. And I don't know, I was getting a lot of advice from a lot of the women in my life because I was going through some really traumatic, extreme shit. I was in a relationship with someone prior to Tiana. Things were kind of rough. Well, not kind of. Things were pretty rough. And honestly, and this is just divulging some really raw shit, I never really had a father figure. You know, I had guys that were close friends, but they weren't really as close, or we weren't really as close as, one would think. It is what it is at the end of the day. But I always found myself drawn to older women to look to for guidance, like a mother figure or a sister figure, somebody that could drop some input on me, help me better understand how to maneuver and navigate through life. One, as a young black man, and two, as somebody that honestly, I didn't really have that great of a relationship with my mother, but she was kind of the model of what I wanted them to be. Really stern, gave good conversation, stories for days, pretty much shit that you could unpack from what she had going on to then better help me figure out how to maneuver and deal with maybe some of the same challenges and shit like that. But yeah, so I always found myself drawn to the guidance of women, just because that was that was what I had in my earlier years. So I say that to say the project or the song was really near and dear to my heart because I wanted to sort of give a song like that, an ode to the women in my life. I wanted to show my appreciation for them. I know it oftentimes I found myself not really wanting advice, because I pretty much hated advice. I never wanted anybody to tell me shit, which a lot of people honestly have been through. We've all been through the shit before, so it's nothing new. But in the back of my mind, I always kept that advice there. It was something definitely for me to look back on and then try to apply to different aspects of my life, depending on what was going on at the time. And yeah, this was one of my songs that I felt as though I really wanted to big up them and pretty much tell the story of how I sort of came to be who I am. The person at the beginning of the project is trying to be in control of shit, always, and then always feeling because they don't have control, shit is just wrong. Everything is just this is bad, because we are only in control but of so much. It was something I was struggling with, so in turn I turned to the Wise Woman to get advice. And the song is pretty much the way I created it was a body of work where each song told a story that correlated with the next one. How it ties into the whole It's Rarely Gloomy on Overton theme was a moment in time in my life where shit was going pretty fucking rough, and starting from where I was at no control or in control, it was the end of 2020 up to 2021, finally like assessing that I'm no longer in control of shit that's happening to me, and I only have but so much control, because ultimately the only thing I can control is my reaction to it. So I turned to the wise woman, and it was like a whole thing. And the song in Wise Woman is pretty much me just like saying, hey, look, give me some advice. The song starts with advice. Better not be all in your feelings about pussy. It ain't about dollar signs. Use a soldier, but hold your composure and don't ever toe the line. I see the niggas you fucking with be on that sucker shit all the time. You better hope and pray that them niggas ain't grimy. Keep that in mind. You know, these are like things that I was taught and told like over my life, like to never always make things about money. Because you make things about money, you can't find the value in things that are priceless. Don't worry so much about pussy. I always wanted a girlfriend. Oh, I gotta have a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. You know, I felt like I was a late bloomer. A lot of the shit that like everybody was doing at my age when I was younger, like around like 14, 15 years old, I wasn't doing that. Like I was, writing raps and like watching anime. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in my own lane, but like as I got older, I started to realize that like pussy, relationships, girlfriends, going on dates, like these things became so much more important to me because I wanted to fit in. I don't even really think I wanted a girlfriend. I just wanted to fit in. Like I think I ended up wanting a girlfriend like later on. I think I like forced myself to do some shit just because I wanted to like fit in. Shit. I think I just made a revelation. But nah. So it was, that, the money, and then I'm trying to remember the lyrics. But use a soldier. I trucked through a lot of shit, man. I've been through a lot of shit in my life. A lot of shit. I mean, like I wear it on my skin and in my hair and on my face sometimes, and that shit don't feel good. You know what I mean? That made me feel like, well, goddamn, bro. Like, do you ever have like a happy moment in life? And I do, I really do. But like, there was so much shit that I had been through that I thugged through that shit, man. Like I really stayed 10 toes down in every situation, and I found my way through that shit. So it definitely felt good. To be able to call myself a soldier. Like, yo, I managed to get through all of this shit, man, and I'm finally here. And because of that, like, I made sure that I would never do what anybody says, or I would never live a certain lifestyle that people wanted me to live. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, like, because I hustle this way or do things this way, and I'm trying to get to a certain point in life, I can no longer abide by the standard of doing what the fuck people want me to do, towing the line, being an ass kisser, a yes man, trying to appease people just so I can find my way through life, which relates back to the second part of the hook with the pussy, or the first part of the hook with the pussy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it was that, the making friends, finding the right type of people around me with the last part or the later part of the hook. Them niggas you fucking with be on that sucker shit. Like, these are all like pieces of like shit that I was telling people that was later the advice that I got, which became the hook of Wise Woman. And then in the verse, blunt hanging on my black lip, acting like my mama or something, telling me what to do. Talking about I gotta know who's will I do, what, but this ain't through. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why, like, it's like I say I stay low key on the West Coast because I like escaped everything from the women that were in my life over there, only to find women on the West Coast who were like the exact same model-esque of women that I knew over there on the East Coast. And it was honestly something that I felt as though was just like, damn, like everywhere I go, there's always somebody that, even though I turned into like somebody that like really, really wants the advice, I guess it's like I'm crying wolf. I'm always finding myself like hungry for like the next step or the next way to do something or to get past some shit. And so I'm always like fighting it though when I finally get what I'm asking for. Talking about I got a nose who, I do you know what, but this ain't through. Moving to the West Coast, try to find my way over here, stay low key on the West Coast. Was having sex with, all these women and shit. Like these are experiences that I was going through. It was like I was telling the story, like I was on the phone with somebody. One of the women that were in my life, and I was on the phone with them, and the advice is always what they give me, you know what I'm saying? And then I go ahead and I like, well, let me get my 2 cents in, which is a part of the verse, which is honestly the verse is my 2 cents to their advice. How I handle certain shit. And in the verse, I'm making everything about like, okay, well, this is how I'm feeling. And I feel like because I'm doing things a certain way, you feel as though you can give me advice. But in reality, I actually do need your advice, and I need you to show me that you care about giving me advice. The whole like story about like the woman was just an idea. I did have a friend that like left and went to LA, but she actually ended up in Bakersfield. Shout out Kyra. But yeah, it was honestly one of those like ideas that I was like, well, let me just like play off of a mother figure aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in the story, I'm like blaming that person for like leaving me and making me feel like, well, life is only like this when I'm over here. And, I wanted to like paint a picture of like a story of just like somebody that felt like they needed that person, somebody with mommy issues, abandonment issues and shit like that. So I've definitely had them. So I definitely wanted to like play on the whole mother aspect really well by like having the advice of somebody, me talking about somebody that was in my life like a mother figure, but then abandoning me because even though I really wasn't trying to listen to you, I didn't need you to go, which then plays on the mommy issues, which like is the whole wise woman. It's like a man, wow. But yeah, honestly, I felt like Wise Woman was one of them songs that I wanted to make to be something about a young man dealing with not having a close-knit relationship with his mother and somebody that turned to somebody to get advice, to be that mother figure for them, only to then leave them and let them figure it out on their own, which is what they're supposed to do, but ultimately blaming that person for doing that. I wanted to create something like that, you know what I mean? I wanted to have like the advice portion. I wanted to have the me talking about this and rejecting the advice and the love and shit like that, and creating a story about somebody who, because most of the song honestly is based on me. Just like clarification, most of the song is based on me, but I wanted to create a story based around that, based around a deeper feeling that I think I didn't really understand until just now. That I made a song about some shit and some feelings that I was really harboring, which ultimately led back to my mom, which is why she was the cover of the single. And I honestly, it's pretty fucking like crazy when you really think about it. But to be honest, I'm really glad I did the song, because doing the song ultimately like helped me like move past that shit, move past the trauma, the worries, because at one point, and I completely forgot to mention, I did have a relationship with my mom when I was living here, in some sorts, but ultimately I started feeling like I started feeling like my mom wasn't really coming through for me. She was disappointing me. And that's some shit I never really talked about before. I know that's pretty heavy, but it's honestly some shit that I never really expressed. And after some time living here on Overton, my relationship with my mom fizzled out, and it was beginning to like fizz out, but like it finally like reached its point. And so I think honestly that was probably a deeper inspiration that I never really noticed. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, I really wanted to make a really heartfelt song over a slap ass beat. And I remember I was on Jimmy's Jambox. Shout out Jimmy. Shout out Jimmy's Jambox. I did a podcast on Jimmy's Jambox, and I was talking about the song. I called it my Hey Ya. And I know I mentioned this in like the first part of this video and shit, or not this video, but like the one before. Check out the 5.5 episode. It's really good. We talk about In Control. But anyway, so I'm like telling them, I'm like, I wanted to make a song that was like really heartfelt, but I also wanted it to be my Hey Ya. I wanted it to be my Hey Ya. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know, Hey Ya is a song by Outkast. Andre 3K is one of my favorite rappers. Outkast in general is like one of my favorite groups. And it was a song about like heartbreak, you know, but it was like over a really good beat. And like the first thing you do is when you hear it, dun 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 dun, my baby don't mess around, 'cause she love me so, this I know for sure. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, this is really good. But like when you actually sing the song, you realize how sad it is. Even though you're grooving and you're jamming, you realize that like as you actually listen to the song, you're like, this is a really sad song. I wanted to do something like that. That actually song, Hey Ya, inspired this song. The really catchy hook, make you bob, make you groove with it, enjoy it. You know what I mean? It definitely gives you like a little bit of an up-tempo vibe. Not as up-tempo as Hey Ya, but like it's definitely something you could just like bop your head to in the car, you know what I'm saying? Or you could just like rap, or you know what I mean? Just, yeah, you do your thing, you know, while you're listening to it. But I wanted it to be like that. Like I wanted to make a song where like it was super, super heartfelt. And I wanted it to also be a song where the first thing you do is I want to pull you in with the and then you really listen to the song and you're like, damn, he really lost somebody, you know, or like he's got mommy issues or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I want you to like really think about some shit when you finally sing the song or rap the song, but always be pulled in by the beat, always be pulled in by the melody, you know. Well, before I drag this shit out, it's getting really late, and I am so sorry for even being able to, or not being able to record this and have this episode ready for you. Those of you who are seeing this, please know that we have episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Overton, keeping it locked. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Raymond Barnett. You can follow me always on Instagram at Raymond Barnett _, on Threads at Raymond Barnett _, and as well as TikTok at Raymond Barnett _. It's been great, and even though it's getting hella dark, I still want you to always remember that the sun is gonna shine for you. Peace.